Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. My name is Jared. I am your host, and every morning when we start, we should just listen to War by Edwin Starr. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Wearing all black this morning to remind you that it's Black Friday. And that we are in what, like day three? Or about an 8 day blackout. So for most of us, we're not participating in Black Friday. It is, however, also Friday, and Fridays just precede the weekend. Should be celebrated. Yeah, I did. I did what every red-blooded American should have done last night, and that's fall asleep on my couch watching professional unionized football. Made it through without issues. I can imagine the kinds of people that support Donald Trump don't want that smoke. So, especially now. And again, something I think about often is you got to be careful about your opinions, the things you say out loud. But I don't feel bad about saying, man, when I really think about how I feel, and keep in mind, I'm not investigating these deaths. So I don't also have the benefit of evidence and access to the crime scenes, and I'm just a person telling you how I feel. I feel the same about the situations. Butler, PA, the Charlie Kirk ritual killing, and uh, and a lot of it had to do with what was going on around the time of the incidents. The timing is peculiar, almost as though these terror cells are being activated within the United States to maintain some sort of order, to scare everyone inside their homes while they uh, buy your farmland for pennies on the dollar, buy up all your good houses, and then just make the American dream unaffordable for everybody and hoard all the wealth to themselves. Sound about right? And like I said, I don't have the benefit of evidence and access to the crime scenes to support that. So you just kind of gotta, God, I hope I'm not wrong. But it doesn't feel like things American, like a lot of people have pointed. A lot of people have said like, don't worry about it. CIA did all of it. I don't actually believe that. So here's what I think. This regime is fucking dumb enough that if the CIA was responsible for all these things, Cash Patel would be out there ringing motherfuckers up. FBI concludes CIA. Bitch, pay me forever. They'll probably have him killed. But it's not to say the CIA hasn't done some heinous shit. Okay? The difference is now we live in the age of information. So a lot of people are so wary at, at history repeating itself, and I would just love to argue, man, they can't keep secrets for shit now. It's like real bad. I do not believe the CIA had an Afghanistan national that came here 5 months after the withdrawal. No, here's what I really think happened. And nobody asked, but we're gonna rehash this anyway. What I think really happened is Ramanullah worked with American soldiers for 10 years in Afghanistan, and that's a fact. So that's not my feelings. Think about being around 10 rotations of soldiers. First of all, you're going to meet some of the same people. You are going to be subjected to American culture. And again, I said it like that for a fucking reason. That's all we got. You're going to be subjected to American culture. They're probably going to be playfully racist until they become playfully racist because basically that's how people are in block. If you really wanted to know how I feel about people, people are just mostly racist. That's like the most common thing I've picked up about off of people, particularly white people. Okay, so what do you think happened? He became friends with the kinds of people that would stab him in the back in a fucking drop of a hat. Probably got promised a life in the States that nope. And what did we learn? What did we learn? He was living in Washington State with his wife and 5 kids, working at fucking Amazon. And I can tell you, he got sold on the. Listen to me. He got sold on the American fucking dream. And he got here, and here in the United States, that playfully racist shit they experienced with the U.S. Army in Afghanistan was just a fucking. Just an ounce of how it is in real life in America if you got brown skin. How violently racist motherfuckers really are. In Washington fucking state, you think he's having a good time? What the fuck are you talking about? Driving for Amazon and Amazon Flex, you think he's just crushing? No. I could promise you that his existence was fucking in futility. What are you talking about? This is not what he came here to do. And what happens when you live in a volatile fucking society? Tell me you become radicalized. And where do you typically go? Your homeland, right? Like you're talking to people and that can empathize with you. Probably the people from Afghanistan that are like from where he's from that speak the same language, have the same levels of faith, right? And they're talking about what they've been through, and he's saying, I'm living here in fucking Washington State with my wife and my 5 kids. Do you think he's fucking happy and that this is what the American dream looks like? I can promise you, if it's working at fucking Amazon, it's not it. And he becomes fucking radicalized. And yeah, he worked with the CIA, and yeah, he worked with the U.S. Army, and yeah, he bought a fucking plane ticket, flew across the country, bought a gun at a fucking pawn shop, and brained 2 American fucking soldiers. It's just an act of extremism. Say it. It's an extremist act. There's a reason that I don't condone violence. It has attrition. It costs people. I'm not a big fan of putting fucking American soldiers in American cities because they brain motherfuckers in American cities. They put two in you in American cities. I don't want my soldiers anywhere near American cities. I want them defending us. I was saying he's working two fucking jobs. He was a driver for Amazon and he also did Amazon Flex. That's two jobs. Do you think he was crushing? He had five children. He had to have a pot to piss in. He became fucking aggrieved. I'm not empathizing with a murderer. I'm saying like he was not fucking instructed by the CIA. Fuck out of here. He came here and became radicalized. He hated it. He hated the American experiment. It's broken. It's deeply, we are a deeply broken country. Isn't that a lot more believable than the CIA? Donald Trump ordered the CIA to order someone to come here, and it's like he's not that. He's the kind of person to capitalize off of it, not the kind of person to organize it and be the brains of it. That's not Donald Trump. What happened is awful and tragic and an act of extremism that I would more closely relate to somebody becoming radicalized. We have a mental health crisis in this country. People do not talk about what they've gone through as a means of like getting it out of them, like exercising their demons, and those things just fester. Most men especially don't talk about their feelings. They hold on to them. You can imagine working with the US Army and the CIA for like 20 years of your life and coming to the United States and you're working for fucking Amazon, how it's quite a bit of a step down from what you thought you were going to be doing. And you can imagine becoming radicalized in a hostile environment, becoming disconnected from your family for months, buying a fucking plane ticket, flying across the country, and putting two in a couple. No sweat. That's a violent extremist act. Should not be condoned. But that's way more. What I just explained as my theory, this is how I feel about this situation. Not the kind, not this regime does not have the brains to have coordinated that, but they have exactly the ability to capitalize off of it happening. Same as I feel about the Charlie Kirk killing. The difference is I don't know if we've ever come back around to this, but I wanted to talk about how I feel about the Charlie Kirk murder. Obviously, Tyler Robinson didn't do it. He didn't shoot him with that fucking rifle. And from the video we saw, it very much looks like a drone like object did it. If I'm being fully transparent about how I feel and think moving backwards, uh, it absolutely makes sense for me. Uh, the timelines that, like, you've seen where Charlie Kirk started mouthing off about Israel. He had been an empathizer. He turned on them, and I'm telling you, Israeli special forces fucking killed him. There's a reason they're trying to pin it on Tyler Robinson because he probably really did plan to kill Charlie Kirk, and he pussied the fuck out because heavy is the head that wears the crown, and he did not do it. But that planning of that got intercepted by the worst kind of fucking people, and they capitalized on that, and that's the thread. And the same thing with Butler, PA. Motherfuckers have been talking about killing Donald Trump, and Donald Trump was fucking sinking in the fucking polls. And I think they knew it was gonna happen. I think he knew some incompetent motherfucker was going to try to shoot me, but he can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn for whatever goddamn reason. And he fucking knew it was going to happen. Did so much as, who knows, but exactly the type of motherfucker to capitalize on it. He knew it was going to happen. He ducked out of the way or whatever, smacked himself in the face with a ketchup packet, whatever. Exactly the type of motherfucker to capitalize on a situation that he otherwise had no control over. Amen. Talking about the fucking violent mob he sent to the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Not the kind of motherfucker to tightly organize some shit, but the type of motherfucker to capitalize on some shit once it's gone down. That's for sure. I was telling my wife this morning that we were following this story about these high rises in Hong Kong that are on fire. Yeah, they're about 130 dead right now. Red Pill Group said don't marry women with children. Let's go. Nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning. Ukraine strikes a Russian refinery, Crimea airfield, drone stockpiles, and a massive overnight operation. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, that's my friends. Uh, Ukraine doing the heavy lifting. Long range strikes combined with precision drone attacks targeted key military, industrial, and energy infrastructure deep inside Russian controlled territory. Volodymyr Zelensky and the Ukrainian military just giving it to him. Oh, and there's all kinds of video too if you like watching all the gore and shit. It's cool. I've seen that all before. Let's see. India clearly doing business with Russia. Hey, Slava Ukraine. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, good morning, everybody. How in the world is India's GDP rising by 8.2% despite Trump's tariffs? How is their economy screaming? Can't put my finger on it. I think it's because they do business with Russia. Washington Post article talking about Maduro. Motherfucking paywall. Washington Post is the worst. They literally don't want you to read the news. Guinea-Bissau. The what we found out over time, which has been super susceptible to military coup. Sucks for them, right? They've had like 40. Army said General Horda Nantaman was sworn in as interim president a day after the soldiers toppled the president and halted vote counting. The opposition candidate alleges a presidential plot to thwart his victory. Okay. Okay. So the story that we're following in Guinea-Bissau, this is how communist regimes get installed. Violence, a violent military coup. They name someone that you expect. You're like, oh, that guy's gonna he's like a military guy. He understands like good order and shit. Like, no, no. What they realize is that they have much more power than they've ever had in their entire life, and they become incredibly fucking violent and selfish. It has happened over and over and over and over and over again. So I just want to point this out before he calls himself a commie, that he's gonna promise to fucking level the playing field and like disperse all this gold, and he's gonna act like a pirate and blah, blah, blah. No, he's selfish. Just look for them to become incredibly selfish. It's happened time and time again. When anyone asks, like, Jared, why can communism not work? Because people equal shit. That's why. Because it sounds, the end goal of communism sounds way too much like trickle down economics, and we've been over this shit before. Jordan calls on Russia to stop recruiting its citizens into its army. Aaron Parnas is clearly uncaring, is what I've learned. He's capitalizing on the situation. The EU tells Vladimir Putin Volodymyr Zelensky is democratically elected. Yeah, the mass blackouts. This is like day three. I mean, and I gotta be real honest. I've been doing it the whole time. So when we talk about like boycott, protest, and strike, I think it starts with social media. I think the most important thing that any one human being could do, if you haven't done it already, is get off Facebook, Threads, IG, Messenger. Get off all that shit. While you're at it, get rid of WhatsApp. Burp. Delete Twitter off your phone. Stop using Amazon. I think all those things, if you can do those things, you're ready. You're ready to download the Goods Unite Us app and let it drive your spending. And I'm telling you, if enough people do that, it changes. It changes the economy. So I've been doing that already. I've been going out of my way to not do business with companies that support the Republican Party. And I think everybody should do that. And I think that's the easiest thing you can do. Because once you do that, then you'll realize you just want to do business locally. As much as you can, support local business. Yeah. You're just saying she don't got IG to fight back. Yeah. I think once you get rid of all those uh what I would say corrupted social media sites, once you get rid of all of them and you get Goods Unite Us and you start focusing your spending locally and you're looking to lower your costs and save as much money as you can, right? Things like boycott, protest, and strike are just fine. You got time for that because you ain't trying to do nothing else. Because I'm not trying to, one of the things that I acknowledge as like an adult that's in a relationship, right? Hi to my wife Taylor, by the way. When you're dating someone, where you go costs money. About the only thing we can do that don't cost money is walk our fucking dogs. Not that I have a problem with that, but if we were just to fucking leave our house, it costs money. That's just the way it is. So again, we talk a lot about how Goods Unite Us gave up five guys. Culver's is better anyway. Israeli forces killed two Palestinian men in the West Bank after they appear to surrender. This is the problem. The problem is this land is not their land. Keeping our eye on The Hague, the International Criminal Court ruled on Friday that the Philippines' 80-year-old former president Rodrigo Duterte must remain detained despite a defense appeal for his release on the grounds of age and declining health. One of the things I want to continue to say is when they initially negotiated this ceasefire, they were doing bombing runs while they were signing it. If you had any signs as to whether or not a country was bullshitting when they were signing a fucking ceasefire, is when the fighter jets are still flying overhead while we're signing a ceasefire. If you ever wondered, like, how could I tell that you don't mean what you say? How about the opposite's fucking going on as I'm signing the thing, stopping what the fuck is going on? Those missions would have never been fucking flown had you decided you was gonna sign a ceasefire. Thank you for coming to my TED talk. They had absolutely the signing of a ceasefire. All it did was make Donald Trump happy, and honestly, I think Donald Trump wants to die. That's why he keeps fucking with the military. Is because he wants someone to martyr him, and I think that's where he is now. He is in the martyr me please territory before he has to do it himself. And so, just so everyone, because I know people wonder, like, well, Jared, what do you think what's going on? Oh, I think he's going to kill himself. Just like Hitler. What are we talking about? Pay attention. History repeats itself. These fucking cowards do not have the balls to do what say they're going to do. Like he's going to go start this war in Venezuela. Yeah? Do it, pussy. Exactly. You don't have the balls. Situation's really ugly in what Sudan and Darfur. The Kiev Independent reporting explosions in several Russian cities. Mm. Yeah, they don't. You're really not looking for conflict like that. Yeah, Sudan's pretty bad. Ooh, I think Japan is going to war, son. 118 trillion yen budget? Come on, man. 117 billion dollar. Massive economic package. Expansionary spending. What do you think this means? Military. For sure. For sure. I think everybody's preparing for war. World war. War on multiple fronts. It's the constant threat of nuclear war. bunch of fucking weak men that honestly don't have the balls to do it. No balls. I'm just saying. Ah, so now we're starting to, the money is starting to make sense here. I don't know if there's, right on. But yeah, when we look at, well, there's the money that tells you everything you need to know right here. All right, so check this out. Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever said the European Union's plan to use frozen Russian state assets to fund Ukraine could endanger the chances for a potential peace deal to end the nearly 4-year war. Uh, and Belgium's support for the plan is crucial as the assets the EU hopes to use are held by Belgian financial institution Euroclear. So, Russia pays the Belgian prime minister off. He says we're not signing off on using Russian frozen Russian assets because it could prevent you from peace, knowing peace is not coming. Well, you know exactly how that story is gonna go. I bet you that guy falls out of a building. What do you bet? Yeah, they keep stirring it. Dude, you know what's crazy? G.I. Joe talked about this. There's a fucking movie. It was one of the real G.I. Joe, the like live action G.I. Joe movies. They talked exactly about like the arms makers of the world, constantly stirring up conflict so they could just continue to grow and develop their business and continue to build um, weapons of war. Hmm. Jesus fucking Christ. Kim Jong Un orders North Korean troops in Ukraine to self detonate rather than to surrender. Ah, I think I shared a video earlier of the ID, the IDF shooting two people that appeared to surrender. Here's the non-paywalled version, so if you want to watch it, you can. Canada is facing a human trafficking epidemic. The Canadian Human Trafficking Hotline has experienced a record number of calls with one survivor sharing her belief. Holy shit. Morning, Rodney. Behave yourself. Try not to piss off all my friends. They're all heathens.
Your kid is hurting, and there's nothing you can do about it.
This song's 21 Pilots Heathens.
Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know
Anyway, I'm a nice guy, sir. Better be. Better be, sir. Alright, so. Yeah, check this shit out. They've got this, they got this pollution problem going on in India. Okay? In Delhi, again, think about what's going on in big cities all over the world. Tehran in Iran, right? They have a water crisis to where they have to evacuate, and then they had a mass pollution, air pollution accident in the city of Tehran on top of um, a water shortage. And now here in Delhi, they're calling it like COVID. That's how bad their pollution problem is in Delhi in India. The air quality index is, you go outside and you die. That's how bad it is in some places in the world. So thank God you don't live there, right? And that doesn't mean that you won't. Okay, so that's kind of one of the things that we have to settle with. Okay, no, healthcare should not be for profit. That is for sure, Rod. But yeah, this is India having a hell of a time with air pollution. The air pollution so bad that the it mirrors COVID in terms of what it's doing to people. I think this is a load of shit. You know why? Because I was actually in the military, and you know what you don't do? You know what you don't do? You don't tell your enemy what you're going to do before you do it. So, for example, here's a story from CNN where Donald Trump says U.S. land action against alleged drug trafficking networks in Venezuela will start very soon. No, the fuck they won't. No, they won't, because if you were going to do that, you'd have already done it and you wouldn't have talked about it. And this is how you know Donald Trump didn't serve in the military. Remember, he said he had bone spurs, right? He's a draft dodger. So he has no concept of keeping, the suspense, trying to surprise your opponent, right? When you lay it all out there and make everything a fucking news story, you're giving away your gusto. You know, the element of surprise is like part of it. Peru sentences former President Castillo just a day after another presidential conviction. Peruvian Supreme Court chamber sentenced former President Pedro Castillo to more than 11 years in prison for attempting to dissolve Congress, only a day after another ex-president, Martin Vizcarra, was convicted and given 14 years for bribery. Way to go. Way to go, Peru. holding their leadership accountable. So keep in mind, here's a Chinese startup showing their new hypersonic missiles targeting Japan. Wow, do us next, right? Yeah, we're getting there. About 5 minutes. First half of the show, we look at world news. Okay. Yeah, do us next. Yeah, I'd love to see some accountability in the United States. I still think Donald Trump's killed more people than any American president in any war. You got to remember, according to this came out right before the election. Uh, Donald Trump's indecision regarding COVID 19 led to the death of more than 3/4 of a million Americans. That was his first term. Here, since he's been elected, his cuts to USAID have already killed like 300,000 people. That's more than a million dead on two decisions. Think about how destructive he really is. Yeah, I know. And I know what you're talking about. Like you want the same level of justice and accountability for your leadership here as they get in Peru. Yeah, I think it'll happen. They'll just wait until he dies. You can't do anything when he because he has dementia and he's a traitor and he's disloyal. And so everyone underneath him is disloyal and a traitor. And so they're all taking turns stabbing each other in the back. It's the red wedding, right? Denmark is setting up a night watch to monitor Donald Trump. Anti-corruption investigators raid Zelensky's chief of staff. Taiwanese authorities raid Intel exec's home and seize his computers. Looks like a lot of accountability going on all around the world. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Man, Iran can't buy a fucking break. Here's a 5.1 magnitude earthquake in central Iran. Jesus Christ, man. It's like what the fuck happened? Oh, look at this shit. UK's Parliament's security staff eye New Year's Eve strike. Guards responsible for protecting British lawmakers have repeatedly walked out over working conditions. They need to unionize. Monahaya. It's just another day, you know. When I was young and dumb, today was the day I went and bought Christmas presents and spent money on myself and took advantage of sales and act like an idiot. And then as I got older, I stopped doing that shit and I started being like a people watcher on days like today. And then as I've got older, I've realized how disgusting it all really is. And then I'm nothing like I used to be, right? I don't want I don't want people living like that. Let's go ahead and share the show. Switch over. Talk about US news and politics. Justice's Waiting Room, a daily podcast discussing news and politics, is live on Twitch and YouTube. And share the show. It's live. JWR is the hashtag Justice's Waiting Room. Twitch and YouTube, and then we always say, hey, free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. Okay? We post that. Blue Sky. So we talk a lot about deleting Twitter. Talk about get the fuck off of Facebook. Where do we go? I went to Blue Sky. Okay. I'm on YouTube and TikTok. That's about it. And if you're still on those sites, and God, they're awful. Oh my God, they're awful. Have they been this bad this long? Well, Rodney, brother, it just so happens that I'm a socialist. I'm also a syndicalist socialist. This means that I'm very pro union, I'm pro equality, which means like I don't accept any form of bigotry. hmm And then I just want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. And I think if we got rid of Citizens United and expanded the Supreme Court and made it progressive and legalized cannabis and turned it into a cash crop and made it into the United States major export, we could actually turn this motherfucker around. You know what I mean? We might actually have some potential as a country. Hmm. Or I want to continue to remind people that the effectiveness of the rule of law is not partisan. Doing the right thing is not left or right. That's just doing the right thing. That falls outside the parameters of politics. Mm. A lot of people ask me, like, can we afford your socialism? Oh, we can more than afford it. Hmm? Oh, we can more than afford it. We can afford it and not add $1 trillion to the deficit. Hmm? And in fact, I think we need to get out of debt as fast as fucking possible. Libraries and publishers are alarmed as Tennessee libraries shut down for the GOP book purge. Well, good. I founded the American Socialist Party. I'm here every day and have been for the better part of a year, just discussing the news and politics, talking about what's actually the fuck going on in the world, making sure we're using reputable sites so we stay in a frame of reality, right? We don't sit here talking about fucking conspiracies and shit. CNN's got an article about data centers powering the AI boom, pitting states against each other. Hell yeah, they are. Mike taught us yesterday when you're sharing a link, if you're able, delete everything after the question mark. That's tracking. Okay. Now, not I want to point this out. Not every Black Friday sale is illegitimate. You have to understand the cost per unit of an object can change wildly. And what really used to fucking happen is they would order a whole bunch of shit and get a big reduction on cost per unit, and they used to pass it along. I worked at Best Buy. We would like have like these GoPros that we never had in fucking stock, and then on Black Friday they'd have them and they'd be heavily discounted because we got a discount when Best Buy purchased those in mass. So I know everybody's like anti fucking capitalist, and I am too, but like understand like I saw the unit price. The unit price went down. That we paid less for it. We had it when we don't normally have it. And it was a sale unit. That's how it used to be. It is not that way. Sorry, I got a tsetse fly in my office. Pissed me off today. It literally just came and landed on my nose. On Thanksgiving, I'm so glad that I don't have Truth Social and sit around and listen to Donald Trump be horribly nasty on Thanksgiving. Here's a New York Post article about Donald Trump called Tim Walz seriously retarded governor. I want to point this out. A lot of people were really beleaguered yesterday to find out that Donald Trump was relieved of responsibility regarding overturning the 2020 election. He failed. He failed. He actually had very little to do with it. He did say some shit, but the criminals, the people that actually committed the crimes, they've already been punished. And them punishing Donald Trump and fucking there's not that much there. Like it's kind of if you just read about what they had on him, it's like they really got Donald Trump saying a couple things. Like all the people that did this stuff, they've been punished. It's not like they got pardoned. It's just yeah, Donald Trump. It's like they're that's how the heads of um, crime networks work, right? Is they have the doers, the people that actually do the shit. More than 220 judges have now rejected Trump's administration's mass detention policy. So everybody, what did Joe Biden do? What did Joe Biden do? Pack the courts. Top EU officials accuse the U.S. of blackmail in trade talks. I see your Missouri and raise you Mississippi. Shit, I see your Mississippi and raise you in Alabama or Louisiana. Your choice. Trump demands reverse migration. Yeah. Here's Bloomberg. Remember, climate change is going to be the number one cause of mass migration. It is our fault, our capitalist ass fault, for destroying the environment and ruining the climate and forcing people all over the world to relocate. Where should you go if you only live one time? Yes, the United States. The only place that seems to not have to deal directly with climate change. For some reason, there are parts of this country that are just like shielded. And so if you think we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, destroying the fucking environment, and people's whole lives are upended, and you think they're not going to come here, you're off your shit. You get what I'm saying? You're off your shit. And the reason white people right now are scrambling, I'm anti-immigrant and shit, right? Is because they don't want to be uncomfortable. And it's ignorance. It's ignorance, right? Because if you're a white person and you live in the United States and you talk like I do, you're not from here. You're an immigrant. You're the son or daughter or grandchild of an immigrant. You ain't from here neither, right? And obviously, like if you're black, you're not from the United States either, right? The only if you're Latino, with the exception of our Mexican friends, because you got to remember that Mexico was most of California and Nevada, and we backstabbed the shit out of people to take that back. So that kind of sucks. But like even Mexican people are more like indigenous than white people. I know that fucking sucks. That's right. Mexican people are more from here than white people. Cause this was here. This shit was Mexico. That's why it's so fucking dumb to be racist. Technically, if somebody is like from one of the islands south in the Gulf or in the Caribbean, they're closer to being from here than white people. Because white people had to cross a fucking ocean. Ricky said I'm a fourth generation European mutt. I think I am fifth gen, and I think the generation that like lived in England before they came to the United States, they were farmers, like dairy farmers in England. Or Soren, hear me out. What if everybody just shut the fuck up about immigration and stop being a dumbass? What if we did that? Huh? Huh? What if people stopped with their dumbass opinions about immigration because you are a fucking immigrant, you dumbass? Yeah, because I know like not my dad, not his dad, not their dad or their dads. That's four that I know of that lived and died in the United States. So I'm thinking if I don't know who my dad, grandpa, great, four times great grandfather. If I don't know who he is, I'm guessing he's not from here. And again, I think most people are Republican and they don't have a good reason. If you just asked someone who calls themselves a Republican or a Democrat, why are you either of those things? I guarantee you they don't know. Like if you asked someone, what is the Democratic platform? They would be like, they're not Republicans? Okay. Yeah, it's because they don't, their understanding of how shit works is fucked, you know? See, what most people don't understand is that I'm pro small business ownership and I'm not a capitalist. Do you see how that works? Like, I want people, instead of there being like big corporations that eventually get to the point where their cost is greater than if it would have just been produced locally, I want people to own their own businesses. They don't know any better. You know, they don't know that there's a better solution. I'm turning the corner on a planned economy because I think the more plans you have, the better. But the platform, there's a reason that I'm like we need a socialist party in the United States whose platform is pro equality, meaning like we're not fucking with bigots. And watch the Republican and Democratic parties just fall over each other to not be they can't be not bigots. And then say that you're pro union and watch them fucking fall over each other, the Republican and Democratic parties, and they can't decide who's more anti union. They can't decide. The Republicans, they hate unions because unions enforce rules and laws and they hold strikes and boycotts and protests. Democrats hate unions because unions get in the way of capitalism. Joe Biden forcing the what was it, the train union back to work, instead of siding with the workers. Yeah. And don't get it twisted. In order to win public office, you got to have money to do it. That's what I've acknowledged about this whole process. It's the racism, Jack. What do you think about transhumanism? Well, we should probably know what that is first. Aren't we already doing that? Don't we have glasses and arms and shit? Colostomy bags. Transhumanism is like a thing. Eyeglasses, hearing aids, dental implants, having artificial joints, that's all transhumanist. Do I think we should like continue? Probably not. Should we be merging ourselves with an AI? Probably not. No. I don't think I want AI to have anything to do with me. Hey, you know what? I'm glad for this guy. I'm sad for him that his parents named him fucking Adolf Hitler. But yeah, I'm all about if you've got a vision problem, get glasses. You lose an arm, stick an arm on there. Yeah. Well, I put it like this. I haven't adopted a HUD. So I think I could have at some point gotten Google Glasses and I didn't do that because I didn't want a HUD. Hopefully I never have to put one on. The Trump train and its conductor are losing steam. Now, if it's a helmet and a bodysuit that provides armor and has a HUD, I'm in. Yeah, if I gotta have it, fuck. Some of us can't see shit. Yeah. Just like openly fucking corrupt. The Trump administration, this regime, is finalizing an indefensible and illegal delay to methane pollution standards. So remember, one of the big proponents of this regime is big oil. Yeah, people are so brainwashed by Fox. Yeah. When I don't know if I ever told you guys this. When I was on active duty in the Marine Corps Infantry over 20 years ago, my leadership told us stop watching fucking Fox News. If you see someone watching Fox News, you make fun of them, you change the channel, or ask to have the channel changed. Fox News is war propaganda. And then imagine your entire fucking family sits around and watch Fox News and eats up that propaganda all day every day. Yeah. hmm Some company would run ads in your dreams, and I don't know that that's even the worst of it. They'd have you working in your sleep and shit. Oh, by the way, I like this poll right here. JD Vance's chances of becoming the 2028 Republican nominee are failing. Or falling, sorry. Failing, falling. Mm-hmm. Now, Donald Trump's an idiot. Okay? So keep this in mind when you read this, is that he's a fucking moron. He said, now that's dystopian. Yeah. Trump says he wants to permanently pause migration to the U.S. from poorer countries. I told you. I want to continue to say this. I fucking told you so. I told you he doesn't have charisma. Nobody likes JD Vance. Here's the thing about Donald Trump is people say in private he's likable. He's like Pete Davidson is, in my opinion, the fairest take on Trump. He's dumb. He can't fucking read, and he's upset. He's a narcissist, but he's tolerable. That's what Pete Davidson said. He's dumb as a box of rocks. He can't fucking read, and he's a terrible narcissist. Wonder if those things are connected. Feeling of inadequacy, not to mention his little penis. Yeah, you got JD Vance has no riz. None. He has no chill. There's nothing about him that's cool. He hates everything, right? He don't like nothing. All the shit that he likes is stupid. And I want to continue to point out they're projecting like they're going to go to war. Here you go. Zohran Mamdani is rewriting the political rules around support for Israel. Yeah, picked the wrong showboy, for sure. I still can't believe Donald Trump called Tim Walz seriously retarded. And again, he's just inciting. That's all he's doing here is lashing out because he sucks. Trump's golf trips have cost taxpayers $71 million and eventually will top $300 million spent on Donald Trump's golf trips. You could have had affordable health care. Hey, I'm just letting you all know if I were president, I would attend sporting events. I would sit fucking courtside. I'd stand on the sideline. I just love ball. hmm I'll be that throwback like Obama when he's like filling out his bracket for the NCAA tournament and shit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And you wouldn't have to worry about my mass deportation schemes, whether it be legally or illegal. Just wanted to just want to throw that out there. Trump brings amateur hour back to the White House. He sucks, Bubba. They say, yeah, and you know what's crazy is they can't even control the narrative on who Bubba is. Wow, the Hill saying JD Vance will lose for the same reason Kamala Harris lost. I would say that's not why Kamala Harris lost. Um, Kamala Harris lost because Donald Trump cheated in this election. What are we talking about? What? Donald Trump tells the press on Air Force One that he's not going to heaven. See, the problem with someone thinking that they're not going to heaven is since they're like, fuck it, I'm going to hell. I'm taking you all with me. See, I think they should take the nuclear codes away from him when he says, "I don't think I'm going to heaven." Why? What? What are you gonna do that you're not gonna? Don, give me put the keys down, Don. You're not allowed to drive. What the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean? God, I fucking hate you. The U.S. government just quietly canceled World AIDS Day. Quietly quitting, huh? Now, fortunately, most of the things that Donald Trump's doing here could be undone, with the exception of all the people that have died. Okay? The Ohio House passes the Charlie Kirk American Heritage Act, allowing the teaching of religion's influence on U.S. history. This is probably not a good thing. You probably do not want to teach people This is going to backfire. As someone who loves chaos, this is not good. You do not want to start teaching generations of kids about religion's influence on politics. This is how you reinforce the separation of church and state, is by teaching kids exactly how religion has influenced politics. 100%. I think that it's a terrible idea. You should definitely not you should definitely not teach kids about the effect that religions had on politics. You should definitely teach kids the impact that religions had on politics. That's a great thing to teach kids. Yes. Yes, you're gonna absolutely ensure that a generation of kids comes out and says, you gotta separate church and state. Those things gotta be. That's why I'm no desire whatsoever to run for public office, but I'm also an atheist, and I kind of think religion is silly, and I think we have a lot more pressing issues that are like far more important that an elected official needs to be concerned with, and that my thoughts on what happens after I die are that I am worm food. I will be cremated and my ashes spread. What the fuck are you talking about? I got shit to do. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Which is why I'll probably never get elected to public office, because I didn't pick a team. I'm not Jewish or Catholic. No offense to Jews or Catholics. Donald Trump's trying to impact the NFL, and fuck that. Har har. Johnson on life amid speakership. We're kind of on survival mode. Why are you struggling? How is this life so tough? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, dogs are playing. The only thing JD Vance and Kamala Harris have in common is mascara. Ooh, that's tough. But yeah, Mike Johnson says that he's really struggling with the speakership. He was on the Katie Miller podcast. His life was daily triage, packed with constant phone calls, gave him and his wife that little downtime. Tried to have order and schedule, gets blown up. There's an emergency every 10 minutes. Wait, and he's got like a wife? He's what? Yo, why do so many people have his cell phone number? Tech titans amass multi-million dollar war chests to fight AI regulation. The Wall Street Journal reporting. Wait, what did you say? I saw that Jeffries had dinner with Epstein at his house in the past. I mean, here's the thing. I've said this before. I'll say it again. What I've learned is that it's not Donald Trump that was this rich and powerful and influential person. It's Jeffrey Epstein. I absolutely understand why Donald Trump had him killed. Talking about being outshined. Hmm? Hmm? But yeah, we need AI regulation. Yeah, Mike Johnson. Remember, they thought you were just going to lay down and take it. They thought that Americans were just going to lay down and take it. That's what they all expected. They expected that there's no way we were going to fight against this. They had a mandate, remember? Father charged with child abuse and torture after taking his kids on a winter hike in Utah. U.S. Navy accused of cover up of dangerous plutonium in San Francisco. Imagine you move out to the Bay Area. Yeah, I need to know every industry that Epstein touched. We talked about Santa Fe, New Mexico, tackling rental rates with first um, counter high rent prices by tying minimum wage increases to consumer prices as well as fair market rental prices. Santa Fe's minimum wage will increase to $17.50 starting in 2027. Over 9,000 workers will see a bump in wages, about 20% of the city's workforce. So keep in mind, socialism just raises the floor. Again, I want to make sure I point this out. It's not meant to be the ceiling. It's meant to establish a new floor. When I was growing up, No Child Left Behind was just trying to get as many kids across the finish line, just get them to graduate high school. A lot of kids can't go to like a 4 year college. Shit, they'd be lucky to get through a 2 year school. But what if they didn't have to pay for that? What if they had COLA, which is what you get when you use the GI Bill, right? You get a cost of living allowance, which makes it so you don't have to work while you're going to school. Now, you should, because you don't get paid very much. But again, socialism for me, why not for thee, right? What all did I have to give up to get socialism and for me to not want that for everyone else? For me to say, oh, 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 I'm special. I served. I should get that and you should not. I'm going to pull the ladder up after me and get on my spaceship. Wheeling and dealing with all the worst people plotting government takeovers. Yep. I can't tell you how many kids I went to school with that their life was completely different because of college being unaffordable, and this was 20 fucking years ago. One of the reasons why I dropped out was because my school was paid for the first like 2 years I was in college. And then it was like, do you want to try to pay for this on your own? And it was like, pay for school and to live? How? It's unaffordable. I gotta do something else. It can't be that. Can't be add all that debt, right? Lucia Lopez Baloza was deported to Honduras last week despite a federal judge's order blocking her removal. Yep, they don't want kids going to college. Why? Why don't they want kids going to college? Yep. Like the good book thought, the GOP, no money, no food. Kenya and China launch a $1.5 billion highway expansion project. Dude, what? Represents a notable return to Chinese investment in East African infrastructure. Hmm. Script News reporting. How about this, though? Elementary school vice principal in Berrien Springs arrested on child seduction charges. What the fuck? What the fuck? I didn't even know that was a thing. They want to be able to get away with shit. And the only way they know that they can get away with shit is to dumb you down, make you dumb. How the fuck? I didn't even know child seduction was a thing. I think this happened after the show yesterday. I ran in to tell my wife, and she was like, "What?" OpenAI had a data breach. Critical data like passwords, payment details unaffected. Involving their analytics partner Mixpanel. Five killed during Israeli raid in southern Syria. So here's I think it's like the third or fourth country in the last 2 weeks that Israel has engaged. Lebanon, let's count them. Obviously they're in Gaza and Palestine, Lebanon, Syria. Oh, Iran. They engaged Iran. Three arrested in Livingston Parish accused of attempting to trafficking of a minor. White people. I want to say About Us. I want to say this is Mississippi? Livingston Parish? Anybody know? Louisiana. Between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Shane Glazer, Leonard Crawford, Brett Bergeron. Kara said, asking for everyone to send good vibes to my fur baby today. He's going to have his left eye removed due to an injury. Oh my god. Yeah, it'll go off without a hitch. She'll be fine, I'm sure. All right. Let's listen to a little bit of Eat the Rich. Every morning when we start the show, we listen to Edwin Starr's War, and we finish.
Everything is set up and running for you.
You made this whole switching thing easy. Just don't touch anything.
Oh, hello. Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery. Wherever you're at, visit Boost Mobile.
Wake up, kid. It's 1:30. You ain't nothing ready to change it but the date. You a grand slammer, but you know Babe Ruth. How to relate. I even swinging from the Friday gate. I got all my answers. No more. That kid, baby, but the wrong key. Oh, yo.
All right. Let's check the weather and get out of here. Survey says
Easy drive.
lake effect snow warnings, dangerous travel, severe storm threat for Texas and Louisiana on Saturday. So, oh my goodness. Yeah, baby. Okay. This is what we signed up for. The from Washington State to North Carolina. So if you draw a line like that, below that line, y'all are gonna be fine. Okay, there's a spot of cold in Georgia, a little bit of rain in Mexico coming into Southwest Texas. Okay, other than that, in the middle of Colorado, you're gonna see some freezing. In Northeast Oregon, there's a little bit of precipitation all over uh, Wyoming and Montana and the Dakotas, Minnesota. Who's getting it real bad? Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois. Y'all are about to get it. And then that obviously goes east. So that's Indiana, that's Michigan, that's Ohio. And then it already looks like there's precipitation slash snow in West Virginia slash Virginia, New York, Pennsylvania, up into the northeast part of the country where you'd expect this kind of weather. Okay. So super active weather. Okay. Lot going on. Keep your head on a swivel. One of the reasons we started ending the show like this is because of what happened in Hill Country in Texas. So I don't want anyone that I know to have a weather-related incident that they didn't see coming that is fatal, that you could have just avoided. So keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to your surroundings. Have a fantastic Friday. Don't do shit. I might go live. We might hang out. I gotta start the American Socialist Party. I'm getting bored. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.